What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome here today to my first 60-pick, 2-round 2021 NBA mock draft. There's just under 10 days to go until the draft actually happens, and I'm so excited for it to occur. It is on Thursday, July 29th, if you didn't know, and there's just going to be a weird thing happening in the first part of this video. So I actually have done like the first 17 picks, but then my camera just completely corrupted on me and I can't recover the lost file. So for the first 17 picks, as my editor Connor, he's going to throw kind of up the timestamp of when the face cam will start on the screen, so you have the exact time. You just won't see a face cam. I do apologize. I don't know what happened. I was just recording. It just froze and then the file got deleted. Just my luck. But yeah, if you guys do enjoy these mock drafts, drop a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I think your team will do down below, and let's get into this. So the NBA draft is less than 10 days away, so this is going to be my final mock draft that is going to be coming before my official mock draft that will be dropping in probably a week from now. So what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Yeah, I'm attempting the 2-round mock draft today with about 9 days left before the NBA draft starts. So we still have a lot of news to come out, possibly any trades. So I will be doing my final mock draft on the 28th or 29th. But yeah, right now will be my final mock draft before my official one. So I want to see what I'm going to look, or like, I want to see what I can do in this 2-round mock draft. You know, this is on TradeNBA.com, Fanspo.com. Link to this will be in the description. And you can actually save all the mock drafts you did. So after the draft, we're going to look back and see if any of these were accurate at all. So we have a 2-round mock draft, 60 picks to make. We got a lot to do. Let's get into this. And also before, drop a like if you guys do enjoy these mock drafts. So number 1 overall pick, I don't need to talk about it too much. It is Cade Cunningham all the way. It looks like he's enjoying Detroit. He wants to play there. Yeah, he's going number 1. I would book it in right now. I would say it's a guaranteed lock. He goes number 1. Now, number 2, been back and forth between Evan Mobley and Jalen Green, but I think there's been some reports out of Houston that they like Jalen Green a lot, and Cleveland is liking Evan Mobley a lot because they have an idea that Green's going to go 2, so that means they're going to be locked in on Mobley at 3. So we have Green going 2 to the Rockets, and obviously we're going to have Evan Mobley going 3 to the Cleveland Cavaliers, as I said. Now, I don't know if they're going to try to work out the Evan Mobley, Jared Allen front court, or they're going to look to just renounce the rights on Jared Allen and let him hit free agency. I mean, they did give up a first-round pick to get him, or they're going to look at a sign and trade. Maybe a team like OKC would be willing to give them a first or maybe even 2 first-round picks to the rights to sign Jared Allen, and so they don't match it. So we're going to have Evan Mobley going 3 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, 4 is interesting. There's been some Scottie Barnes hype. Yes, Scottie Barnes to the Raptors at 4. I don't think it happens. I think it's going to be Jalen Suggs. And I feel like there's going to be a surprise. Like, no way the draft is actually going to go Cade, Green, Mobley, Suggs, and then Kuminga. I just don't see it happening. It's been too obvious for too long that just something's going to happen, right? Like, no way we're going to know the draft order pretty much since the NBA season ended. It was just kind of up in the air who's going 2, who's going 3. But yeah, I got Suggs going 4 to the Raptors. They'll kind of start or try to make the playoffs next year with getting a top 5 pick there in Suggs. And then 5, I just mentioned it. I think it's going to be Jonathan Kuminga, but I wouldn't be surprised if Moody goes 5, if they don't think they can get Moody at 8, if Scottie Barnes goes 5, and they just like Barnes over Kuminga. So that's there's the top 5. Still have 55 more picks to go. All right, so start of the non-top 5 picks. We're going to have Scottie Barnes going to OKC here. It's pretty much been my same top 6 for the last 3 mock drafts. Now, 7, it is interesting. Moses Moody's been getting a lot of hype as of late, and I think I kind of like the idea of Moses Moody going to the Warriors there at 7. And I'm itching to do it, but I think it's going to end up being Davion Mitchell. That's what I'm going to go with. I think he just fits that team so well. He checks off multiple needs, a backup point guard, defense, the ability to shoot the ball off the bench for them. I'm going to have them taking Mitchell at 7. And then I'm going to have Moses Moody going to the Orlando Magic at 8. Someone that could shoot, space the floor. Their young core consisting of RJ Hampton, Fultz, Cole Anthony, Chumo Kiki, Isaac Carter Jr., Bamba. They have a huge young core, and Kuminga now. None of them are really elite 3-point shooters, and Moses Moody could be that in the NBA. So I have him going to the Magic at 8. 9 with the Sacramento Kings. Multiple picks that I like them to take here, and I think it's going to be Franz Wagner out of Michigan, a guy that can just be a playmaker, just a shot creator, someone that can defend for them and kind of do it all. Harrison Barnes probably isn't that long-term 3 answer, and Wagner can play the 3 and the 4, and I think that could be valuable, especially if they look to move Bagley or if they want to move Bagley to the 5, if they're not bringing back Rashawn Holmes. Next up, we have the Pelicans at 10. There's just multiple options that they could go here, and I think I'm going to have them go, it's between 2 players, Corey Kispert and Keon Johnson. And I think it's actually going to be Keon Johnson. I just don't see him falling outside. I mean, he could go like 11 or 12, but I just think that the Pelicans, now, he wasn't a great shooter at Tennessee, but he's a good defender and he has defensive potential. And I don't know what really the Pelicans want to do. Do they want to surround Zion with defenders, and that would be Keon Johnson, or do they want to surround him with shooters, and that could be a Corey Kispert option? But I'm going to have them going Keon Johnson there. So there is my first 10 picks. All right, so number 11, we have the Charlotte Hornets. Multiple options here to go, and I kind of like Jalen Johnson here. We don't know if they're going to give Miles Bridges the bag and they're going to pay him on his rookie extension, or another team might go out and like him a little bit more and pay him above their price tag. So I think they could kind of look just if that's not going to work out for them, and they can take Jalen Johnson, who I'm a fan of. They can maybe move Gordon Hayward to the 4, PJ Washington to the 5 in some lineups. I mean, that probably wouldn't be great, but at least you can kind of maybe do some small ball action with Johnson and Hayward at your forward spots, and then you got LaMelo and Rozier, and then you really need to figure out your center spot. I mean, that's what the Hornets need to do, in my opinion. Not like the greatest free agency class with centers, but they could go out and trade for Miles Turner. I mean, in free agency, there's Drummond, Harrell, there's Rashawn Holmes. Not all great options, but hey, maybe some options that they will like. But I'm going to have them go Jalen Johnson here with the 11th overall pick. Now, on the clock here at 12 for the San Antonio Spurs, I'm going to have them go Kai Jones out of Texas. We don't know if Jakob Poeltl's kind of that long-term answer there. DeMar DeRozan's going to leave, so they're going to probably have Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell at the 3. They could slide in Kai Jones because he could shoot the ball at the 4 or at the 5, and I think that would be a really good pick for the San Antonio Spurs. He gets to stay in the state of Texas. Yeah, I didn't realize how good that Texas front court was with Greg Brown and Kai Jones. And kind of going into the year, a lot of people thought that Greg Brown was going to be the higher pick of the two, but it ended up being Kai Jones. I'm going 12 to the San Antonio Spurs. Next up here at 13, I have the Indiana Pacers. Been mocking this a ton. I love it. It's Josh Giddey to them at 13. They could potentially be trading Brogdon this offseason or throughout the season before the trade deadline. And I think Giddey could be that long-term replacement for them. Now, on the board here at 14, the Warriors need some shooting. And I think there's two great options. If this is how the board goes for them, they would be loving it, because they can go James Bouknight, who was a little inconsistent at UConn, but the kind of the form is still there, the intangibles are still there, or Corey Kispert, arguably the best shooter in this draft. And I think for them, they're trying to go all in next year. I think they're going to go for the best shooter in this class and get Corey Kispert, have Kispert and Davion Mitchell off the bench. I think that could be really good for them. And also you can put like Jordan Poole there and Eric Pascal. That's a nice bench to have, because they definitely need to work on it a little bit. And grabbing Kispert, I think at 14 is really good. So yeah, there are my lottery picks. I guess when we get into the second round, we'll go a little bit quicker, but just fits I love Jalen Green. Like, obviously I love Kate to Detroit. I love Jalen Green to the Rockets. Mobley to Cleveland's a weird, like, a fit that I don't know what's going to work out if they decide to bring back Jared Allen or not. Suggs at 4 to Toronto. I wouldn't say it's the best fit, but I think getting that player for them, you really can't go wrong. I don't mind Kuminga to the Magic, as long as they're kind of trying to make him and Isaac work. I really like Barnes to the Thunder. Love Mitchell to the Warriors. Love Moody to the Magic. Love Wagner to the Kings. I like Keon Johnson to the Pelicans, but maybe they go for somebody with a more kind of shooting aspect to their game. Love Jalen Johnson to Charlotte. I like K. Jones a lot to San Antonio. Josh Giddey, love to Indiana. And Kispert, I also love to Golden State. And these are not picks I'm always going to be saying that, okay, this is what I think each team should do. This is what I think each team would do. And I think San Antonio could definitely go after a Kai Jones. But do I agree with that? Not necessarily. So let's see here. We have the Washington Wizards on the clock here at 15. They could go guard. They could go wing. James Bouknight's still on the board, but I think they need to address that center spot. And I'm going to have them select Alperen Sengun here out of Turkey, someone that could space the floor for them. Could be an okay defender in the league. I wouldn't say he's great because he's a little bit smaller. Actually, no. There was a picture of him next to, was it Whiteside? I don't know, but it was next to like a 7-foot guy in his combine, or just kind of his pre-draft workouts, because I don't think we have his official height yet, and he looked like he was at least 6'10", 6'11". So I think that could be the Wizards pick there at 15. On the clock here for the Thunder at 16. I'm going to have them take James Bouknight, just such a valuable pick here, and getting Bouknight and Scottie Barnes with your top, or first two picks in this draft, I think is great. You have your young core of Shea, Theo Maledon, Bouknight, Vu Dort, Scottie Barnes, Poku, Darius Bazley. That's very nice. And then they also have the 18th pick. We'll get to that in a second. On the clock here at 17, I have the Memphis Grizzlies selecting Zaire Williams out of Stanford. I think the Grizzlies can look at their roster right now and be like, all right, we don't really need to change much, and we can make it to the playoffs next year. So I think, yeah, there's a guy like Chris Duarte, who doesn't have like star potential in this league, could be a pick for them to make. But I think that Memphis might go. They might look at this team. They're like, we have our franchise player, John Morant. Jared Jackson Jr. it looks like he was on his way to being potentially like an elite number 2 for them. Maybe wasn't great this year, obviously with injuries, but maybe they're going to look at this draft and be like, all right, we can afford to miss on this pick because we still have a good roster with Kyle Anderson, D'Anthony Melton, Tyus Jones, Brandon Clark, Jonas Valanciunas, etc., that we could afford to go for a boomer bust type player, and I'm going to have them taking Zaire Williams, who could be a really good player in this league. He could be a massive disappointment, so that's what I think Memphis could take that risk on, because if they can maybe land a stud there at 17, like a Donovan Mitchell type pick. Alright, we're back. That does suck that there wasn't any face cam for the first 17 picks. I do apologize there. So, we're on the board here with the 18th overall pick, the OKC Thunder, their third selection here in the first round. And I like the backup point guard option for them. They have Teo Maledon. Shea could be a 1 or could be a 2, but I think they could just look and get another point guard in this class because there's still 4 great options on the board in Sharife Cooper, Jaden Springer, Jared Butler, or Trey Mann. And it is tempting. I'm not really sure what I want them to do or what I think that they could end up doing. I like Jared Butler for them because he's a little bit more experienced, playing 3 years at Baylor. He's a great defender, just won a national championship. I feel like OKC doesn't need to take a bunch of projects. Scottie Barnes, he's a little bit of a project. James Bouknight, not as much, but still will need to kind of adjust to the NBA level. I think they can go out and get Jared Butler, who just might be the most NBA-ready player out of all 3 of those. Definitely doesn't have the highest ceiling, but just NBA-ready, because we know they're going to be losing next year, but it could be nice to have somebody that can kind of step in right there, or right away, and be a locker room guy for them. Next up, with the 19th overall pick, I think the Knicks are going to get their point guard in this class. It comes down between Sharife Cooper and Trey Mann, and I think that they're going to end up going with, I think it's going to be Trey Mann. Emmanuel Quickley and Obi Toppin from the 2020 draft were 2 non-freshmen, so I think Leon Rose and maybe that front office likes maybe non-freshmen a little bit, and that's what I'm predicting them to go with. So yeah, Trey Mann is going to be the Knicks pick here at 19, their first of their 2 first-round picks. I think Atlanta would be upset. I could see Atlanta wanting Jared Butler and Trey Mann, so if they both go right before them, or right before they pick, I think they would just be a little bit upset. And then I'm going to have them go, ooh, this is tough, because I like Usman Garuba, but that's if they don't bring back John Collins, but I think that could happen. Isaiah Jackson's a possible fit. Cam Thomas, but I think that they're going to go with the backup point guard spot. And I like Jaden Springer to them at a little bit, or at 20. I think he can, or he's projected to be a better defender in this league over Sharife Cooper, and I think that's what Atlanta might want. Maybe they can play Springer out there, who's 6'4", a little bit taller, has higher wingspan, or longer wingspan, I should say, to help out Trae Young in the defensive end, or really just to be kind of what Chris Dunn should, or they wanted Chris Dunn to be last year, but didn't work out. So, on the board here, 21, don't think the Knicks would go point guard. I think they could look at some shooting here. Cam Thomas on the board, Chris Duarte still here, but I could see them going a big, and I think it will come down between Usman Garuba and Isaiah Jackson. Nerlens Noel might get a payday from a different team this offseason. We'll see kind of what's going on with Mitchell Robinson if he's their long-term answer at the 5. But I think they can go for another big, and that's going to be a project player of Usman Garuba out of Spain. On the board here, 22, love this pick that I'm going to have the Lakers getting, and that is Chris Duarte there. Somebody that they don't need to be just a superstar or a star or ever an all-star in this league, but just somebody that could just be a situational guy, be their Cam Johnson, be their Desmond Bain, someone that can knock down threes for them when it matters at a high clip and an efficient level, and that's who I'm going to have them selecting there with the 22nd pick. On the board here at 23, I'm going to have the Houston Rockets select Sharife Cooper. Can be that next or that replacement to John Wall, or if they kind of want him to be the backup to Kevin Porter Jr., if they end up playing him at the point guard position. And then they do have back-to-back picks, so I think they could look at a project guy in Isaiah Jackson. They already got 2 guards in this draft so far with 2 of their 3 first-round picks in Jalen Green and Sharife Cooper. Get Isaiah Jackson, who could maybe play next to Christian Wood or just back up Christian Wood next season. On the board here at 25, I think the Clippers would want to go for a scoring 1, like somebody that can actually just be an efficient scorer for them. I'm sure they're going to want to bring back Reggie Jackson. They still have Patrick Beverly. I like Miles McBride a lot to them, and I'm kind of itching to do that. Cameron Thomas as well, I love that. Or even Trey Murphy. You know what? I think I'm going to have them go Trey Murphy here at 25. I just think he's a lock to be a first-round pick, and then he just seems like a Clipper to me. So, on the board here at 26, I could also see the Nuggets wanting a 2, someone they could put in between Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, and I'm going to have them go Cameron Thomas. Not a great defender, but if they have Aaron Gordon out there and Michael Porter Jr., I mean, it's not a great defensive lineup, but Cameron Thomas can just go in there with Jokic getting the ball, just surround Jokic with everyone that could shoot. Michael Porter Jr., an elite shooter. Jamal Murray, an elite shooter. Imagine hitting another elite elite shooter in this class with Cameron Thomas at 26. That would be amazing for Denver, who's trying to win it all next year. 27, we have the Brooklyn Nets. I think they would go Ayo Dosunmu here. I like that pick for them. Just somebody that could shot create off the bench, really just replace Spencer Dinwiddie, who might not be back next year and could get a payday from a different team. On the clock here, 28 for the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that could also go for a shooter. I also like Roko. I'm going to butcher his last name. I don't fully know how to say it yet, so let me just learn that now. So it's Rocco Prekicin, and I don't know if he would be a Sixers pick here. I think I'm going to have them select Josh Christopher out of Arizona State. So we're on the board here with the Suns at 29, and that's who I think I'm going to have select Rocco Prekicin there. Just kind of trying to add another big. Sarge tore his ACL. He's going to miss most of next year's season. Jalen Smith did not work out as a rookie, so they could go Rocco there out of Croatia just to be that backup big behind DeAndre Ayton next season. Now, finally, with the last pick here in the first round, I'm going to have the Utah Jazz select Miles Mcbride. Get that backup point guard. Get somebody that could score for them off the bench. They need some scoring there with Jordan Clarkson. We'll see if they end up trading Bojan or Ingles or Derek Favors so they can do some scoring out of Mcbride off the bench. So that's it for the first round. We have another 30 picks to go. It's going to go a little bit quicker. Maybe I'll just give a quick one sentence thought about the pick, and that's why I'm going to have them select that player, because this is going to be tough. I'm trying to guess the second round. I mean, I will be doing a second round for my official mock draft. I think I predicted 2 second round picks last year, or just 1. I think I definitely got 1, but it's tough just predicting second round picks because so many trades happen, so it's really just so chaotic. But here we go. The Bucks have the first pick here, and I think they could look at a backup big, and that would be JT Thor out of Auburn. Next on the board here at 32, who have this pick from Detroit in the Marcus Morris trade, I believe, or this was from the Daniel Otoro trade last year. I think it might have been that, but I could be wrong. And I think the Knicks, they'd look at a wing here, and that would be Joshua Primo out of Alabama. Now, on the clock here at 33, for the Orlando Magic, I kind of like J.R.E. going to them. I also like Aaron Henry or Quentin Grimes possibly, but I'm going to have them select, I think I'm going to have them select Jamire Robinson Earl, get another big, someone that can space the floor, run the pick and roll there in Orlando. On the board here at 34 with the OKC Thunder, I kind of like Greg Brown to them, but I don't think that would really end up happening because they do have Poku and Baisley and Scottie Barnes, so I think they would avoid that position. So I think they would maybe go out and get another Kentucky guard, Brandon Boston, who was such a high prospect coming into college this year. He just really didn't pan out. Or they go backup center in Charles Bassey, because I did have them select a big man before, right? Like it was James Bouknight and Jared Butler. So I never really had them taking a center. Yeah, I think they could take a center here, and that could probably be Day'Ron Sharpe or Charles Bassey, and I'm gonna have them taking Day'Ron Sharpe out of UNC. Now on the board here at 35 with the Pelicans, I think Greg Brown could be the pick, potentially not like a long-term answer, but potentially an answer to the backup 4 spot behind Zion Williamson if they move on from Nicolo Melli eventually. And the Thunder with just another pick in this draft here at 36. I think they could just look at a potential boom or bust guy, just somebody that could have maybe star potential, but most likely could just not pan out at all in the league, and I think Brandon Boston really fits that criteria. On the board here at 37 with the Pistons, their second pick in this draft so far. I think they would want a wing, specifically someone that could score for them off the bench. It really comes down between probably Joel Ayayi, Aaron Henry, and Quentin Grimes. I don't see Aaron Henry falling out of the top 40, so I'm going to have him going to the Pistons there at 37. The Bulls' first pick in this draft, because they don't have their first round pick from the Nikola Vucevic trade, they could look at another maybe backup center, and Charles Bassey could be that selection for them out of Western Kentucky. It worked out for the last Western Kentucky center. Well, he didn't actually go there. I'm talking about Mitchell Robinson. He was committed there, but didn't end up going. So that analogy didn't work out. Now, on the board here at 39, the Kings, they just seem like a Luke Garza team. I don't think Luke Garza would actually go in the top 45, so I'm not going to have them take him, but I think they could go maybe another guard or another big. And Isaiah Todd, I think, would have potential for them if they're not going to end up paying Marvin Bagley. Have them taking Franz Wagner. They're going to get Isaiah Todd here with 39. On to the Pelicans here for their second pick here in the second round. I think if they're not going to bring back Lonzo Ball, they might look at a point guard here, and that could be either Nishan Highland or Dashi Nix, maybe David Johnson. And I think unless he has someone to shoot a guard that I like at the 1 now. So I'm going to have him select Nishan Highland here out of BCU. Spurs here at 41. I like Quentin Grimes to them there. Just maybe another score if they maybe end up trying to move Derek White or somebody like that. And then another guard is going to be going off the board here, and Joel Ayayi here to the Pistons at 42. And I think I like Kessler Edwards here to the Pelicans out of Pepperdine. And then I think at 44, I'm a fan of Herbert Jones. I think he'll go in the top 50 in this class. I have him going to the Nets at 44. Now at 45, I think the Celtics are going to go Matthew Hurt. On the board here at 46, I think Johnny Juzang, he came back, right? Yeah, I think he ended up returning to college. Ooh, who do I like here? I think maybe Scottie Lewis, or maybe they go somebody a little bit more experienced. And not Luke Garza, not Philip Petrusev. Ooh, I think Joe Wieskamp. I'm probably butchering it. I think it's Wieskamp. So I'm going to the Raptors there at 46, and they have back-to-back picks. Okay. And I'm going to them selecting Rokas Jokubatis. On the clock here at 48 with the Atlanta Hawks. I think they can go maybe with a big... do I like Isaiah Livers for them? Trendon Watford out of LSU. Just seems like a Trendon Watford pick. On the clock here at 49, the Nets. I just think they're going to go guys that are experienced. Yeah, I'm going to have them selecting Luke Garza out of Iowa. Sixers here at 50 could go another guard, and that's going to be Dashian Nix. Same with the Grizzlies. I think they can go with a guard as well, and that's going to be David Johnson out of Louisville. Pistons here at 52. I'm going to have them selecting Neemias Queta here, who could maybe be a center. Obviously, they have Isaiah Stewart, Mason Plumlee. Maybe Plumlee ends up getting moved at some point. All right, so we have about, like 8 picks left. This is my longest draft here so far. Okay, so 53 with the Pelicans. I think it's just... Do I see them taking another guard? They have so many second-round picks. I think I'm going to have them selecting IDB. 54 with the Pacers. They took a second-round pick from Duke last year in Cassius Stanley. Yeah, let's have them select DJ Stewart. 55, the Thunder. Yeah, Philip Petrusev. Why not? Hornets here at 56. I'm going to have them select David Duke. And then we're on the board again with the Hornets at 57. I think Scottie Lewis will get drafted. 58, I think the Knicks could take Makir Maker out of Howard. I don't know if that's really like a smart decision for Makir to enter the draft, but I think he could end up getting drafted very late though. 59 here with the Brooklyn Nets. I thought Jason Preston might have came back, but I guess he's still in this class. Yeah, I'm going to select Jason Preston. The Nets have a bunch of second round picks. And then finally with the last pick in the 2021 NBA draft, Mr. Irrelevant is going to be Amar Sila out of Senegal, the second Senegal player in this class. So yeah, here's my full 2-round 2021 NBA mock draft. Let me know if you enjoyed by dropping a thumbs up on this video. Let me know what you think of it down below. This will be my final, or my last mock draft until my final mock draft. That'll be coming on probably June 28th, so be on the lookout for that. I love you guys. I can't wait to the draft. I'll be live streaming for it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.